officially that time of year. Days are getting shorter and shorter, and it's getting colder outside. There was actually snow the other day, and every year, I live in the Midwest, it snows here. Every year I'm shocked when I look out the window and I see the first snow. It never fails. But what does all that mean? We are in the midst of the holiday chaos. And the holidays are often thought of as joyous, and for a lot of people, they certainly can be, but there are plenty of people among us who the holidays are really hard for various reasons, and it can compound feelings of sadness and loneliness. And not to mention that there's all these added stressors of expectations of things on the calendar to do. Maybe you're into all the baking and the gift giving and all the events, even for the most well-balanced and well-adjusted people. It can be really stressful. So I decided to pull together a list of ideas for gifts or for things to support ourselves even, that don't necessarily even require a holiday or an occasion to consider, but this time of year when we're thinking a lot about giving gifts and trying to, bring a little bit of joy, sometimes bringing a little bit of peace and centering is also a good idea. So everything that I've chosen on this list, and there's one completely free item, and it might be the best thing, so definitely stick with me here. Besides the fact that I have a gift idea that costs nothing, everything that I have on my list is under $100. Most are under $50. Some are under $20. There's something for everybody here. There are links in the description for every item that I mention, outside of the free one. That one you don't need anything for. I've used everything I recommend because it actually has worked or helped me in some way. I don't take anything that I'm recommending lightly. I'm an artist, and that being the case, I have to start with art supplies. But you don't have to be an artist to enjoy the mental health benefits of making art. Drawing, doodling, coloring, journaling even, painting if you're a little bit more advanced, or crocheting. All of these have meditative qualities that are soothing and good for you. They're good for your mind, and there's legit science to back that up. I'm going to throw a link to a video that I made quite a while ago where I talk a little bit about that. Coloring supplies. Colored pencils. This is a really great set of watercolor brush pens, and it even comes with a little pad for testing on and making marks on, which is really great as well. So it kind of has everything you need right off the bat. And coloring books. There are so many kinds of coloring books available. One that's a little bit more intricate and pretty things. There's really raunchy and adult-themed ones as well. And then personally, I am a big horror fan. So I was gifted this book, which has really got some gorgeous artwork in it for coloring, and it's really fun. So there's a coloring book anymore, an adult coloring book for anyone in every interest. If you know somebody who likes to journal, having a really beautiful journal can be a pleasure to draw on. And don't take for granted the power of a really great pen that just feels good and glides nicely over the paper. Just helps to elevate that experience just a little bit and make it kind of something special to settle into doing. There are great painting kits to get you started that come with some paints, maybe a small basic set of watercolors or acrylics with a few pieces of watercolor paper and brushes to get you going. And knitting or crocheting is actually really fantastic as a crafting kit idea because the action of doing those knots over and over again has a very meditative quality to it also. Pre-put together kits for doing a small crochet project or getting started with learning are really popular these days, and it's a great idea. Probably about the most expensive thing on my list, and I still have this one as around $60 or $70, so it's still not super bad considering what they often are. But a weighted blanket. I took a really long time getting behind the idea of a weighted blanket because I am a hot sleeper. I get really warm. So there were 3 criteria that I came up with for me to be willing to look at a weighted blanket. 1, it needed to be breathable. Two, I wanted it to be easy to care for. A lot of them are made with glass beads sewn into them, so you can't just throw it in the washing machine. So you use a duvet cover, and I already have a comforter with a duvet cover, and it makes me want to pull my hair out every time I'm changing it. So keeping it simple, easier to take care of. And third, I really wanted it to be something that wasn't ugly. The first time I looked at weighted blankets, when they first kind of came out in the market, almost all of them were just gray or navy blue. And nothing against gray and navy blue, but as an artist, I like some color. So you could see I picked out a really colorful, bright one, and I love this. This is great because it was pretty affordable. Like I said, it was about $60 to $70, right in that range, maybe up to $80, depending on the weight that you choose and the size that you choose. But it comes in different colors. It does have your grays and blues and neutrals, as well as a few other colors, like brighter colors. And this can go in the washing machine. And I got a 10-pound blanket just to start with. They say that when you're picking out a blanket, you want to go at about 1/10 of your weight. Go to 1/10 of your weight and then round to the nearest number available to you, and err on the low end of rounding when you're getting your first one, just to see. So if you weigh 160 pounds, you are probably going to be looking for a 15-pound blanket, because they tend to be 10-pound, maybe 12, 15, 20, and so on. For kids, if you're shopping for a teenager or a younger kid that has some anxiety, because these are pretty nice for that, they do have some 5-pound blankets available as well. So I have been using this for a little bit now. It doesn't make me hot. I just have a lighter blanket underneath it, and then this on top. And it took a few nights to get used to, and then it becomes sort of like a cocoon, like you're being swaddled, but it's not constrictive. If I don't feel like I can freely move all my limbs, God forbid anybody ever suggests sleeping in socks. That sounds like a nightmare. But this one has been great. It just allows me to fall asleep a little faster, and I stay asleep a little bit more solidly, and I don't sweat. Yes. Everything I need. Oh, and it comes in a nice little bag that zips to keep it nice and clean in shipping that you can use again. Third item on my list is something that a few months ago I would have rolled my eyes so hard. We've all heard of affirmations, right? Look yourself in the mirror in the morning and say the things that you need to believe about yourself. I've always kind of struggled with taking them on or taking them seriously, because I've always thought of them as a little too woo-woo. But the fact is they actually work. Like, there is enough evidence that they do help. They do work. So then the trick is finding some you can kind of get behind. And I have this kit that I really love. This is fantastic, and it comes in this beautiful little box. This is Affirmators with an exclamation mark. This is the deluxe kit, so it pulls from a lot of different kits that were come up with by these folks. And this box has a magnetic piece that folds out, and the cards are in here. They're nice, sturdy, they feel good. They have a texture on the top, and they're a little smooth on the bottom, and they have like a metallic imprint on them. And they have adorable illustrations. I mean, it's a unicorn with rainbow stars and a rabbit in a uniform riding it. And the cards on the other side have beautiful illustrations as well. They're a little bit whimsical, but they're also powerful. So let me pick a random one, just to give you an idea. So you maybe pick one card every morning. I keep them by my bedside, grab one, and kind of pick something out of random. Here's one, Rebellion. I high-five my inner rebel and invite them out to wreak some healthy, law-abiding havoc. My inner rebel has a way of turning things inside out and making them way more interesting. We're talking coloring outside the lines, boom, modifying a recipe, bam, wearing stripes with plaid, mic drop. So, yeah, it's a little silly, but you get it, right? Like, they actually mean what they say, and it's the things that we need to remind ourselves. And that topics and the scope of them are all over the board, and they are pretty great. Yeah, they encourage you to be fearless, to be forgiving of yourself, and to just show up as your best self every day. And there's 100 of them here. This deck was created by comedian Susie Barrett, and they were illustrated by Naomi Sloman. And it's just a beautiful deck that professes to help you help yourself without the self-helpiness. Okay, this one's a fun one. This was super affordable, and I love it. Comes in this nice little box, and it is a little light. It's a squishy light. So this is the one that's stacked stones, and there's one available just like this that's a Buddha. They call it a Mindsight Peaceful Pebble. And what it does, it charges with a USB cable, and there's a power button at the bottom. You press it once, and it changes the light color every 5 seconds so that you can look at this, turn it on, and do your 5-5 breathing. You can actually see that the exhale's the blue, so it gets dimmer. Your inhale's green, it gets a little brighter for 5 seconds. And then if you hit the power button one more time, it gives you 4-7-8 breathing. So getting brighter green, inhale, hold for purple at 7, and then your blue exhale will get dimmer. Not only that, but you tap it on the table and it gets a little dimmer. So if you have a darker space and you don't want it to be so bright, maybe you're doing it at night, your breathing exercises, this is kind of a really nice option to have for somebody like me who has ADHD and is really easily distracted and has a hard time focusing. It's nice to have this visual guide to get me to sit down and take a few breaths, even for a minute, work my way up slowly. But it's a great tool. It's kind of cute on your desk or on your bedside, and it's just really clever. All right, number 5, a really nice herbal tea. Bear with me here, because again, this is one of those things that people used to say, like, have some chamomile tea to calm down, and I would roll my tea. Don't take my coffee away from me, first of all. Big time coffee drinker. But I've gotten into actually liking the ritual of making a cup of tea in the evening or in the afternoon. The ritual element of it, just, bringing your kettle up to temperature and then letting it steep and then having a nice warm cup of something, especially now that it's cold outside. Currently, my favorites are these lines of super adapt teas from the Republic of Tea, and they all use different adaptogens. They all have a different benefit that they're designed to. This one is the burnout blocker, and it includes chaga and cordyceps mushrooms, and it also has a lot of cinnamon and ginger. It's a very relaxed cinnamon. It's not hot and fiery on your tongue. It's really pleasant. It also includes dates, organic dates, and organic chicory. And that's it. The 2 mushrooms, cinnamon, ginger, chicory, and dates. That's all the ingredients in here. And it's also organic. Adaptogenic herbs and plants are supposed to help balance energy and process stress in our systems. Now, just to let you know, adaptogens are considered a supplement. FDA doesn't warrant anything that's said about them. There are some studies that show benefits, but there's not enough to really say, like, for sure, this is something you should do and it will do this and you want this amount. This is just a little something that's pleasant and maybe has some benefit to it. Okay, now here's one that I love that might be kind of funny. If you know somebody who has a lot of tension, maybe, and have headaches and shoulder, neck pains, or just pains in general, maybe from anxiety or other things, or just people that even do a lot of physical activity and have aches and pains from that or other illnesses, I really love a heated pad. I know, I've had this one for quite a long time, so this is a big recommend because I've used it. And you just have a button on a remote, you turn it on, and you can set your heat number from 5 to 1. 0 is basically off. And you just put it where it hurts. And the nice thing about it being a soft pad is you can kind of drape it over your shoulders, put it over your lap if you have period pains and cramps. You have a shoulder pain, you can kind of wrap it here. Like, it's really versatile, and it's just, it's soothing. And on these cold days, it's really, really nice. Now, it might be a little like old lady style gift here, but I love this thing. It's just a nice way to kind of relax and address some aches and pains that might be annoying and just take a moment to get warmed through. Okay, number 7. I believe that we are all a masterpiece in progress. We are our own individual works of art. Whether or not we ever arrive and become that finished masterpiece, it doesn't matter. The art is in how we become, how we grow, the journey that we're on in our lives and our mental health. So I created this design based on a painting that I created some time ago, and it is a brain as a painter's palette. And it says Masterpiece in Progress, and I have it available as stickers, notebook, a mug, and a couple other items in my shop, a shirt as well. And these are really high quality vinyl stickers. I have one on my coffee tea travel mug, and it's been here for a year and a half, and I use this all the time. Stands up to washing, hasn't had any signs of aging or tearing or fraying or fading. And it's just a nice little reminder that we are, on this journey that's a beautiful thing. Number 8 is gift cards for living. And the idea of that is if you can afford to spend a little bit more than the other items that I talked about, you could perhaps, for somebody who's really overwhelmed at home, buy them a few weeks or a few months of a meal delivery service or a professional house cleaning or organization. For somebody that never takes the time to take care of themselves, that just falls off the bottom of their priority list, a gift card for a massage, a really nice haircut, or some kind of a spa treatment. If somebody really likes a bit of escapism as their way to decompress. Gift cards for audiobooks or streaming services for either music or movies. There's so many available these days. Just identifying where somebody is struggling and then seeing a way that you can try to help fill in that gap and make things a little bit easier, if only for a little while. And from that being the more expensive, potentially item on my list, we're going to segue into number 9, which is my favorite and completely free. And it is the gift of time, but this is specific. It's not just, I will spend some time with somebody. My idea here is that you set up a regular time, a check-in that happens based on what's available to you, maybe weekly, maybe monthly, and it could be a phone call. It could be face chatting. It could be a coffee date, meeting up at a coffee shop to get somebody out of the house and just chat and really check in on them. How are they doing? What do they need in their lives? Just an opportunity to connect. It helps with loneliness. It helps with stress and anxiety to be able to talk and connect to people, and depression, absolutely. It's important. It's so important that we connect with people, especially if we know somebody is struggling. And the other idea that kind of balances off of that is if somebody needs help with something in particular that doesn't qualify as like a gift card item, but something that you can actually afford the time to help with. Maybe it's a home project or a yard project. Maybe it's help with organization in a place in their home. Maybe it's somebody who needs help getting to appointments. It depends on the person and what their particular needs might be. If you know that somebody that you care about has something that they're trying to get through, that you have some kind of either just the time to help or some expertise to help in, your time is a huge blessing. So I want to bring this back around full circle and talk about how giving is legitimately good for our mental health. Whether that's giving through actions or time or gifts or money, research has actually measured an increase of happiness in our brains when we do these things. It's for real. Outside of gift giving to the people that you love, you can also volunteer. There's a lot of organizations that could use a lot of help, especially this time of year. You could even give money if you don't have the time to charities and organizations that you know are worthwhile. There's added benefits of volunteering too. They help us connect to other people, and it's good for your resume if you're looking to add some skills, and you can help you to learn and practice new skills. So I hope that this list was helpful. I will be back to talking about art and mental health and how those things can relate to each other in future videos. In the meantime, I live stream twice a week, Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Central US time, and on Thursdays at 10 a.m. US Central Time. You can always pop in, see what I'm working on in my art studio and chatting about. I'm always reading and trying to learn about new resources and information to share with the intention of destigmatizing mental illness, especially for women. I'd appreciate if you think to like the video and subscribe if you think this is helpful at all, because there will be plenty more ideas and things to help you take best care of yourself, to learn about what's happening in the world and educate ourselves about what it is, and do it through an artistic lens. Thank you so much for watching. Happy gift giving, and remember to take care of yourself. Oh, stinker cat. There wasn't much room there.